going back to the day-to-day operations, obviously for me, it allowed me the leniency and opportunity to run between Houston to the Midland office and not having to be, it's not like I don't trust my consultants, but I always like to be out there when decision-making time is there. So it allows me to go back and look and see back through what was going on. It also allowed me to go in and open up a quick shot and watch, the last 6 hours, which would basically be one well per, one stage per well, and see how each of them were comparing. I could run beside each other, see if we were seeing any interference between one well to another well real quick, just in pressure pumping side. You could dissect, for me, we did run a dry FR unit, and I could kind of tell when we were seeing dry FR problems and staying in touch with those guys. Hey, have you cleaned out your hopper? Have you cleaned out your auger? Did you clean out your circulate? There was a lot of different things we could do. Even in my consultants were using it on location that way as well. Then say post job, my real efficiency started looking at invoicing versus time. Because the way our contract is set up with FTSI is it's 2.5 hour stages, and then a 15-minute window of MPT, extra pumping time, whatever you want to call it. And then after that 15-minute window, we got hit with a 15-minute cost and another 15-minute cost, another 15-minute cost. Well, let's say FTSI couldn't achieve 85 barrel a minute because they had 6 pumps down on the stage before, but then the next stage we pumped and it was highly overpressured and we couldn't get but 75 barrel a minute. But guess what, boys? You owe me for back over here. And so it's an easy way to reconcile time. And that's in invoices. And at the end of the day, we saved, roughly, I think off of the 1, 2, and 3, it was right at $30,000 plus or minus, in just that extra incremental time that I was able to go back and go, hey, you know what? You're wrong. But if I didn't have that, then I would have to go through and flip through every treatment report physically, count it all up, put it on a spreadsheet, and done. Here, I just dumped your CSV file, sorted it by the way I wanted to sort it. Boom, here's your time, here's your stage time, and went back to the little reports that ran long and find out, okay, that's an FTSI issue. Oh, it was already documented here. Nope, that was a Hibernia well issue that CART created it and balanced the time out. And at the end of the day, it all became a wash.
Excellent. Okay, so that the overall thesis is of our system is not really one of ours. It's just one of any industry. All the data, if you have an operation that's that complicated, what it's been in the past is very service centric, right? So as an operator, that's frustrating. Frac worries about frac, coil worries about coil, pump down worries about pump down. You guys are paying a massive amount of money for these guys to be there. And it's generally, just because of the way the industry has evolved, been accepted that they're just going to give you the data however they collect it, and it's up to you to figure out what to do with it. And that's just not acceptable anymore, right? The new norm is, like every other industry, part of your service is making sure I can understand how your data relates to the operation. Don't put that on me, because that's useless, right? And so that's where Colbor comes in, offers our system to bring everything together, make it an operator-centric perspective.
Sure.
It's not as valuable for me to just see your coil data. I want to know, what does that mean in relation to the time series? What do all your raw values in frac mean in relation to how long that took? Exactly what you're doing. So what you found there is specific to your operation is what we want to get documented, and then make that an automated report for you.
Sure.
Right. So that exact discussion that we have with you going on here, we're recording this. So we'll put it in a document and have a discussion with you, so that for the next pad that comes up, here's the things that John's looking for. We want these exact parameters watched and pulled from each stage. If there's one that's over, then I need that to pull that and go back and correlate that to here and here. So that saves you. Yeah, right. So the idea is, once we get this base system in place and we've digitized all of this manual processes that currently Hibernia is doing, then we end up in the feature state, right? Like, we're getting through the foundational work here. Now we start saying, I need this and this and this and this. And it just goes on in automated report fashion. Because all the data has been put in one place and formatted correctly, you can ask anything of the data in relation to the operation, and we can just start building features out of it, and it never ends.
Yeah, and the other thing that I was using it for is determining efficiencies on well swaps, right? Because you really have three crews running during this time. So when one crew's off, 2 crews are working. So the day crew turns into the night crew goes off, crew that was off comes back in on days. And one of the things we were studying is well swap efficiencies, right? And like I told FTSI, with what we're doing, because we are swinging iron, we're not running a zipper manifold. We're not running, we're swinging iron coming on off, case hole with their wireline crews, same type of deal. 3 crews, who had the most efficiency, what was happening, can we learn something from those guys? Can we improve crew 3's efficiency by having them learn from crew 2, that type of stuff, from what we were doing. Because really, 390 stages, if I save 3 minutes, right? Go ahead and add that up real quick. You're
a lot of money
at 1,107 minutes, right?
And what's your then your cost per hour on your AFE? Yeah. And this is where we start to find the compounding effect of this system is what what we've been educating the market on for a long time. Safety, the automation, the visibility, the invisible lost time. It's just these compounding savings that you got to look at. Yeah. And I love hearing this from you.
Yeah. And that's really what we were using or what I was using with my consultants is trying to really diagnose the day-to-day, truly minute, second operations, right? It's not the hour things. The hour things are the things that are catastrophic, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you're hours. Minutes are the things that are what's saving you days and weeks and months. Especially if you're running a frac crew like we were back to back to back. 390 stages, 3 minutes, you look at it, well, that's just 3 minutes. Well, 3 minutes times 390 is a big chunk of change that absolutely can impact your total AFE cost or your bottom line, really and truly. So that's what we were doing is trying to figure out, and at the end of the day, we were all running, I think if I remember right, the last few days we ran, I think every crew was running somewhere between a 11 and a 12-minute well swap, right? And I can tell you this, there's not people out there today running manifolds and doing it all through Ridlock and all that stuff that are beating us.
Mm-hmm.
And doing it any safer than we were.
Yep. And so on saving those 3 minutes, that's 20 hours, the 3 times 390. And that's over what? That's on how many? So sorry, how many days?
That was 6 wells, 390. That was 390. I'm just saying over 390 stages, right? So it took us
19 and a half hours.
James, I'm sitting here, I'm lost for a minute. Let's say that was right at 56 days, plus or minus. I believe it's a pretty close number. 1 day is $80,000.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I was going to say, maybe 28 days is what we were averaging. So two pads back to back, 56 days. A day out of that is, it's
a day being 24 hours, right?
Yeah, 24 hours.
But the problem is your most of your rental equipment is charged by the day. So if you keep it 5 minutes or you keep it 23 hours and 59 minutes, you're getting it charged for the day.
Yeah. Right.
Right. So, on the of course, your horsepower and your wireline and water are your typically highest cost today. But if you add all of that together, we're roughly somewhere between $78,000 and $80,000 a day spin rate out there on location. So you save 20 hours, you can figure out the equation real quick. You saved a boatload of money just by having the data in front of them to say, hey, let's go get a little bit more efficient right here.
And if you save 6 minutes, you shave 2 days, right?
That's
it's adds.
Yeah, that gets into the 3 to 5 minute range, gets into the hundreds of thousands. That's on the one metric, right? The one metric, and you can find 5 metrics like that is the game here.
And that's what, when we set this up the next time around, like you say, the real-time response data that needs to come back from cold bore is, okay, we're gonna look for a well swap efficiency window. Mark me things that are less than 15 minutes. Mark me things that are 15 to 20 minutes. Mark me things that are 15 to 30 minutes. Mark me something that's 30 to an hour. And those are real-time dollar markers, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you come up with. And we mark the NPT time when FTSI is down working on the blender, or we had to make a coil tube and run to go fishing. All of that's done, but we're not capturing these small time frames of, TSS was down for 15 minutes because of, we capture that stuff, but we don't capture the operational inefficiencies that just look like they're normal operational things, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So a part of that is going to be, it's like anything, right? When we go from manual to automated systems, we got to do a 3-step process: manual, augmented, automated.
Yeah.
And so what we're doing right now is identifying all of the things that we want to see. We have the first system in place that gives us the correct data to look at. Now we're identifying, and this identification will allow us to say, here's what you guys want. Watch for this, watch for this. And again, that's again, on the back side, that's the feature of reporting, automated report. And these automated reports will start to attach numbers to them in the future if you guys want to. So it could run real-time cost analysis, right? If you have an idea of what your hourly rate is, we'll add that metric into these. And it's just another user interface that we got put on there.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, and the thing is, I'm really open to the fact of sharing it with everybody on location, because that's the only way the team knows how good or bad they're performing, right? Is,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the FTSI data that is given potentially to management may not be exactly what happened because they're covering their ass, right? And believe me, I was a treater at one point in time, and I understood how to do it real well. Is I can blame it on somebody else, right?
Yeah.
But if we've got everybody, if I give a login to FTSI's management in Odessa, and I give it to case tolls management in Odessa, and then I give it to this and that, and they can share it wherever they want to. But each morning, those guys can log on and see our measured efficiency, what they're going to have to argue with me about.
That's right. And the next step, obviously, we put a lot of work over this last few months when we're working with you guys into the back end as well. So not just what we're seeing up front, but the permission-based login system. So what we're going to have when you guys come to your next pad as well is the ability for you to dictate, allow frac to see X, Y, and Z. Give wireline this screen, give these guys this screen, and now everyone's communicating on this as well. So everybody, new morning procedure, check in. I'm going to be looking at this. I'm going to be checking the raw values on this, and we're going to be comparing that against the time series. So here's the new level of transparency that we're operating under, and here are our new expectations.
It's easier to sell to, and realistically, it's easier for me to sell to my consultants, one, because you got to start at the wellhead, right? You got to start at those guys.
Yeah.
I can, for Embry, myself, and James, and everybody else, we can see kind of what it looks like. But if the guys at the wellhead don't understand it, and they think we just got another big brother with eyes and ears trying to spy on them and catch them at something bad, that's not what it is about. It's about, getting efficient, getting us all off of this location and going to the next one, and where we can learn from it. And believe me, when we start back up, we're not going to be starting where we just left off, because the people are going to change. The equipment's going to be shot. I mean, we're going to be in a really, really shit hole of a time when it comes to getting stuff back out of mothballed and get going again. And those are the things that we can really dictate and say, look, here, we're going to set up contracts with these guys going forward of here's where we were. We're going to give you a little bit more training ground time, and I'm going to call it time because that's what we're going to base all this off of. But over these times, Hibernia is not going to be responsible for it.
John, another thing that I'm hearing coming from you that is interesting to see you're so far ahead on the path is using this time series data for the contracts and to move to a much higher resolution performance-based contract that we can implement because the system is doing the tracking of the incremental data. It doesn't overload our people. And we have the raw data that's backing it up. So we can check it and there's no arguing it, right? We might as well just implement some automated contracts that are based around what the system's telling us and can interact that automatically for us. So part of our algorithm that's doing the state detection on the frac tree, we have it at V1 level right now. Our guys were helping it along at the augmented stage.
Yep.
It's now moving to V2. When we get out there, you're going to see really high automation, this thing just pumping along. OSR interfaces for your guys to be going, oh crap, that's recommending frac. Why is it recommending frac? It's going to show all the reasons why. These valves are open, this one's closed, that pressure. And then go back and look through that for the last 5 recommendations and just go, okay, yeah, yes. That builds my contract. In that V2 version of the algorithm, we've got expected pumping plan considerations in there. So now we're going to build a digital pumping plan with you guys that says, okay, here's how my ideal frac would go, right? This amount of time, this amount of time, this amount of time. As frac starts to go over on one of them, it doesn't mean it's going to automatically change a contract, but it is going to automatically track that and suggest this is something that needs to be looked at, i.e. NPT or UTF. But now you're starting to see a contract or a system that's automatically tracking stuff, automatically suggesting or recommending this needs to be looked at. Is it UTF or NPT? So your company man is literally just running the operation, and he can start to trust it at some point and say, yeah, I'm going to look at it. That's NPT. No, it's not. We had a separate thing. And he can just go, no, change to, edit this, done. And then when everyone leaves that location, it's done. The negotiations are over. You just transact, right? And that's on your back end for your APAR, not having to go through account managers and people looking at it 50 times over and arguing and negotiating. Like, we're done. When we unplug, the data's there, transact the contract. And it will give you guys the power moving forward when we get this level of trust established and this new automation for you to say, here's how I'm going to drive efficiency in my business now. Now that we can pay you in a day or two, we're going to decide when we pay you. So 5-star services, and this is data-based, not opinion, so it can be fair to the service. If you're 5-star service tracked on low NPT and low UTF, you're going to get paid in a day or two. If you have had a lot of problems on this pad, we're just going to put it out 120.
Yep.
Easy as that. Put your sharp stick away. It's all based on performance.